All right, guys, what's going on? How's everyone doing today? This is my second live stream of the day. If you missed the first one, we'll kind of go over some of the stuff we covered. We obviously talked about the fights tomorrow in Puerto Rico, headlined by Joshua Pagano taking on Malik Montgomery. We got the whole fight card. We're getting options on the props and the bets for those on both Sportsbet and Bet365. So we bring those odds up in a second. And then this weekend, we have a bunch of fights. Obviously, the big card headlined in London at the O2 between the heavyweights, Joe Parker and Fabio Wardley. Guys, if you haven't seen my breakdown, prediction, and analysis of those fights, go to my playlist, Johnny Says Fight Predictions, and you'll be able to check those edited versions out. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, that link right there, it's pinned in the comments section below. Join our Discord. We're about 250 people, 250 VIPs in there now. And so what we also did was we organized it last night. So shout out to my boy Gil. Gil is our first moderator. And in the past, for instance, all the fights, we would just put them all cataloged under boxing. Now, all the insiders, if you guys weren't aware, we have created an area called study area. So in the study area, we have created tabs for every single upcoming fight. Now, all of these tabs will disappear after the fight. So if moving forward, guys, everybody in the Discord, if you guys want to talk about Parker Wardley, you see the tab. Pagan Montgomery, Casimiro Kameda, so on and so forth. And like I said, shout out to Gil, man. Gil really made this look really good. We also added a film study section. Now, the film study section is going to allow us to create events such as scheduling film study together. Everybody has access to this who is in the Discord. Shout out to Swaggy. Swaggy, let me put Swaggy. Let me highlight this real quick because Swaggy, you just put up your film study on Pagan, and I was reading it, mate. I'm sure that was you. It was pretty good, man. Parker Wardley, study area. 37 new messages. Swaggy, I will live bet. Yeah, so here's the chat. Shout out to Swaggy. Super chat in the house. Usyk, appreciate the super chat. Brother, sub Johnny, how long do you think Aspinall game would last? Ooh, look, man, Tom Aspinall, super athletic, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. This is a UFC question, and guys, we the show is cut in half, so I'll take these UFC questions, MMA questions, as they come in as well. Look, man, Tom Aspinall, I think, is that dude. You know, like Aspinall, he's good. He's good on his feet. He's good defending the takedown. He doesn't mind going to the ground. He's super athletic. Gone. You know, that prodding, poking style. I'll bring up the odds real quick. I'm pretty sure Tom has the shortest fight average time per fight than anybody, maybe in UFC history. Aspinall's average fight time for his career is what, 2 minutes? Something like that? Something insane, man. So I would say, I haven't looked at the odds yet. How Gain's tough though. Cyril gone. You know, he's tough. I don't know. I would take obviously the fight to not go the distance. I'll take a look at the odds in a second. I'm gonna say what's up to Swaggy. Yeah, bro, I got Pagan low key. I can see where Pagan stops him. Do you want to come on and chat about that or no? Guys, if any of the boys in the Discord want to come on, click the link. I put it right. I put the live call in right there. So if you boys want to come on, just click that. I'll bring you on. You can talk about it. Because you know, I broke down Pagan and Montgomery, and I said the same thing. You saw a couple different points than I saw, but we both agree at the same outcome. Yeah, and that's another you know, shout out to the Discord, shout out to the chat, shout out to our community. A lot of good discourse going on. We don't have to agree on everything, and sometimes we don't. But when, you know, guys like Swaggy are putting in the work and doing film study, and you know, and then all the other boys, you know, see that, and it definitely goes it definitely gets noticed. Let me click out of here. Let me exit film study. I don't want to trip on anybody in there. So let me see if I can pull it up actually though. Study area. Did you put a link, Swaggy? Did you put a link in the group? All right, Pagan, Montgomery. Yeah, so I like Pagan. Right now the odds are a bit 50-50. Okay, here we go. I got Pagan. Malik ain't good. He's not a good pressure fighter. He's just a pressure fighter. I could see it being a close fight because Pagan's Pagan's retarded and will opt to firefight in these linear exchanges where Montgomery could thrive on the inside. But if he uses his brain even a little, he can pretty much all of Montgomery's offense and lateral movement. Pagan has showed me a good amount of that, and I'd be that much more confident. If Pagan knew how to feint or set lateral traps, but he should just get the job done regardless. Not going to lie, I could see a few scenarios. Pagan just completely outclasses him with volume to where Montgomery's corner throws it in. Pagan chooses to be retarded and give Montgomery the space to shine. Yeah, so I like now when you look at statistics, if we're going to talk about stats and how both guys and I'll bring the odds up right now. We're talking about the fight, our first action tomorrow. We're talking about Pagan versus Montgomery. This is a fight that's in Puerto Rico. This is a Salido Promotions card, and this is the main event. We have to also talk about though how each guy has looked in their last fights. Pagan is undefeated, 13-0, 4 stoppages. And Montgomery's actually coming off his first career loss in which he was the favorite. So Montgomery was a favorite against Jeremy Hill. He lost that fight. Now these odds, $1.88, 203, 50-50 toss-up. Now, people, I've said it all week, people see Montgomery's box rec and see that he has a 90% knockout to win ratio, and they're going to think that he's a knockout artist. On paper, he is, but a lot of his stoppages come at lower level opponents, and the thing he does do well is volume. Montgomery averages 100 punches per round. So when you're going against lower sort of caliber opponents, and he is a storied amateur. He comes from the United States amateur background. He was an amateur champion. So a lot of that is touch, touch, score, touch, touch, score, volume, volume, volume. And in the pro level, all that volume and output, if you're fighting a guy who isn't prepared for that, or starts fading, like even if you're a C level fighter and you're fighting just a journeyman who's never broken through past the club level, you're going to stop that guy. And so a lot of his stoppages come from that way. Julius, sneaky good play is Royston Barney Smith knockout. He's levels above. Hold on. Sneaky good play is Royston Barney Smith at TKO. He is levels above Royston Barney Smith. You're talking about Quarantine. He's a 5-1 dog in that fight. He's a 5-1 favorite. Yeah, we talked about you're talking about Barney Smith to beat Quartermain, right? Or are you talking about Quartermain being the dog beating Royston? Royston's a good prospect, guys. Both guys have undefeated records. I definitely don't see Quartermain beating Barney Smith, just to give you a heads up. So maybe that's a typo on your end, Julius. I think it is. You know your boxing. Here we go. It's this fight. Yeah, so Barney Smith is the favorite. He's going to win this fight. Julius likes the method of victory. $1.60. Hey, mate, that's not a bad shot. $1.60 on that, $100 gets you money back plus 60. That's a nice little prop. I like that a lot. I've taken bets like this before, gone heavy on a one-off, get that nice little 60% return. So I'm gonna write that one down. That's a good bet. JP Farley, I think it's going to be one of those low key banger fights. Both guys are attack minded. Pagan is just, yeah. When both guys have a lot of volume. Pagan's aggressive. Let me try to bring up let's try to bring up some footage. Neither guy is super active though on Instagram. and I don't want to go the route of YouTube and risking a copyright strike. But this is JJ. See, not a lot of foot. Not you can't find a lot too much on him without going to like YouTube. So, but like I said, he fights like he's a big puncher, but he's not. He's aggressive. He's on his front foot. Doesn't have a lot of power, but he's classy. He has a skill about him. He had a good amateur career too. Salida Promotions built this card around him, so you got to think about that. It's definitely worth mentioning. Yeah, I'm skeptical of Montgomery's pop. Let's check him out real quick. Malik's 30 years old, and Pagan, I think, just turned 26. I only reference that. Malik's coming off his first career loss. Yeah, I think I'm comfortable. Like I said, I put my bet in on Pagan earlier in the week. I'm trying to find a tag. There we go. Malik Mayhem. I knew I was spelling his name right, his first name. Yeah, gonna get copyright. This is his page. No, he's a confident, 100 punches per round. That's what I was talking about. Coming off his first, he lost to Jeremy Hill. He was a favorite in that fight too. Atlanta, Georgia guy. These are guys he sparred or he's fought. He fought in the amateurs. All those guys fought Chushu, fought Teofimo, fought Berlanga. So he comes from a good pedigree. But guys, that amateur game is not the pro game. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to keep that in mind as well. And he's small. He's fought more recently at 126. Pagan's had fights up at 147. This fight's at 135. So yeah, my money's already in. I'm taking Pagan. You mix that with the A side, where this fight is, all that good stuff. He does. He cuts a lot of weight. He cuts a lot of weight. Let's see if we can get those weigh-ins. Pagan, like I said, he's taken fights at 47 before. But I mean, look how much bigger he is too, though, man. They try to say that he's only an inch taller, man. Nah, that Pagan looks like he has at least a 2-inch advantage. Because they're listed at 5'9" and 5'10". JP, Montgomery's record is deceiving. He doesn't really. No, he doesn't. It's one of those things, guys. The more tape you watch of Montgomery, it's the volume. He drowns people. And especially if you're not at a certain level when you're facing that style, if your cardio starts to fade, there's a lot of corner stoppages, the corner throwing the towel in. So it's going to be a fun fight. Look, it's going to be a fun fight. The odds are even. I think that that's a good shot there. I'm happy with this one, actually. I'm actually more stressed out about my Joe Parker bet than taking Pagan here. I wanted to ask you boys a question real quick. I'm going to show you guys Joe Parker. I talked about this in the first live stream. All right, I'm gonna address it with this. So this you're about to see the first fight between Fraser Clark and Wardley. Watch this uppercut right there. Fraser Clark lands as clean as an uppercut as you can on Wardley's grill. Wardley eats it and then stops Fraser Clark. This was the rematch. Now, Joe Parker has one of the best uppercuts in the game. It's one of his. This is Connor Ben on the scales, by the way. Joe Parker's uppercut's one of my favorites. So my question is, will Wardley be able to take Joe Parker's uppercut? And we're gonna see. Parker has more power than Hooney. Parker's a former world champion, guys. This is Wardley's step up. This is by far Fabio Wardley's biggest step up. And call it what you will. What is this? The Usyk? What are we gonna call this? The Usyk sweepstakes? Like whoever wins gets you. All right, so shout out to PJ, who is trolling. PJ, I'm gonna this is either PJ or who was the other dude that we had to block? Remember old mate who was on our live that we had to block for trolling? This isn't Muscles, by the way, because I'll call him and he ain't answering. Ryan, that's not Muscles. They just trolling. Don't get fooled, boys. That is hilarious to me because these boys are baiting me into these boys are baiting me into we don't want Muscles knows how to get a hold of me. It's not really Muscles, mate. It's not. Even though there won't be a rematch, I like Montgomery. Not sure why everyone loves Pagan. Well, S6, we told you. I told you why I love Pagan. I don't love Pagan. I told you why I'm taking Pagan. I think that his pressure, his style. I think his class. I think his size. I think all that's gonna add up. I also think that if it's this close of a fight, what people think, and you mix that with the psychological component of Montgomery coming off his first L, he loses to Jeremy Hill, a guy that he was supposed to beat. This fight's up at 135, more natural of a weight class for Pagan. There's a lot of little things that I like favoring Pagan over Montgomery, but we'll see. We'll see. Nobody could stand and say that they know it for sure. But that's why I am choosing Pagan. There's not a lot in. I like Malik. If I had a couple good things about Malik is obviously his volume, his output, his pedigree. I know he just switched camps. He was with he trains out of Vegas. He was with his long-term coach, but then just went back with his father. I know he just hired a nutritionist, so he's trying to get his weight on point. His last fight, Jeremy Hill, he was 130. He said there was a lot of issues going into that fight in fight camp. He said by the time he got to fight night, he wasn't himself. And he said this, he's going to have all these answers, all these questions answered. So, yeah, I looked in depth to this. It wasn't like I just threw a coin up. So, you got both of my reasons. Johnny, give us a TD UFC us, but okay, let's do it. I like this. Let's do a DGen, boy. All right, let's do it. I'll do you an order. I'll do you a shout, Clarence. Clarence, you just gotta join the Discord too, boy. I'm giving you free love. Baby. Okay, Johnny, give us a TD UFC upset boxing dog to put on a TD. Are we talking a touchdown? Or you said like a touchdown score in an NFL game? Is that what you mean? If you do mean that, I would put my boy QJ to score a touchdown. Before I go on, Clarence, do you mean a touchdown in an NFL game? Like a mixed parlay? Yeah, okay. So if we're going touchdown, this is what I would do. I would take QJ to score a touchdown. And don't be like, who is QJ? Quinshawn, baby! I'm a Browns fan if you guys didn't know. So let's go to my boys. Let's go, baby. All right. Anytime touchdown score. Boom. Right here. So we'll take QJ at $1.96. We'll put that on our little cheeky parlay. UFC upset. Already know where I'm going with that one. Now I like Mario Bautista, but that's a bit of a stretch because I think he's a 4-1 dog. I could definitely see Mario Bautista beating Nurmagomedov, man. People are sleeping on Mario Bautista. That dude is a savage, man. Batista's only losses years ago. He lost to Corey Sandhagen, and he lost to somebody like five. He has two, but he's on a massive win streak. And we just saw Nurmagomedov lose to the champion Marab. So that's not a bad L. But I like Nathaniel Wood at plus money. Let's see who I'm going to take. Breaking Bad was on here earlier. He likes Park, but that's not the one I like. Rakic versus Mirzakhanov. Damn. Volkov versus Almeida. Dude, Volkov, he's been... All right, I like Jandaroba. So this was the one. I like Jandaroba at plus money against Dern. They fought once during the pandemic. Jandaroba, I feel, has rounded her game out. You give me your plus money, I'm loving it. And then a boxing dog to put on a D-Gen parlay. Here we go. So that's 2 legs. Boxing dog of the week. We're just talking odds here. So you just need plus money. So we're looking at plus money real quick. I need to break down Lozado and Odessa Parker. I'm not going to put that on my on this, but I've been looking at it. I'm not going to lie. I've been looking at that, maybe wanting to pick the dog. And don't sleep on Bibiano too, mate. Bibiano at 7-1 against Dusmatov. People have been sleeping on Bibiano. That's not going to... Kameda. Kameda to beat Casemiro. There you go. That's my D-Gen parlay. Let's view and bet slip. Boom. We are at 1194. So 100 gets you your money back plus 1,094. Is that good, Clarence? Let's eat. Boom. That's my 3-leg D-Gen. Shout out to Clarence Beeks. We got receipts. So whether this hits or it doesn't hit, we could come back and let's go. We could check it out. Where are the rest of the boys? Breaking Bad had a good point. We're going to move on. I appreciate you, Clarence, though. That was fun. Breaking Bad made a good point. I could see Wardley decision happen if Parker gets dropped and gets up to survive. Parker's tough as nails. Parker's, he could take a shot. He's, he got stopped once. He's been dropped multiple times. I was talking about it earlier, man. Boxing is the fan base. The fan base is super brutal, and the fan base has amnesia because when you look at who Joseph Parker, when he got stopped, when you look at who stopped him now, people are going to look at the total record and they're going to be like, he got stopped against Joe Joyce. I can't believe he got stopped against Joe Joyce. Dude, when Joe Joyce beat him, Joe Joyce was undefeated. He was knocking everybody out. People were comparing Joe Joyce. People that I know who were retired professional boxers. I brought this up on the first live stream. Guys that I give a lot of credence to their perspective. He wasn't just chatting shit. Him and I were breaking down this Parker versus Fabio fight via Messenger, where we do audio messages like a lot of the boys do. I send a message like old walkie-talkie type shit. It's like, we could just call, right? Nah, it's old walkie-talkie shit. And he was like, bro, people forget Joe Joyce, man. People were comparing Joe Joyce to George Foreman regarding that, how Joyce would parry the jab and then punch over it. And, he just had lightning in his hands. And when he knocked out Parker, that was like a big thing. He was a big puncher. And then, Joyce's career didn't really pan out after that. So, but since then, Parker's been, I think a lot of it has to do as well. When Parker gets hurt, he comes undone. Certain guys, when they get hurt, they're able to kind of like, I don't want to say poker face through. Like we've seen Wardley hurt, for instance. We've seen Wardley hurt. We've seen his nose get, I think, broken against Fraser Clark. And, some guys are able to keep it together, right? When Parker gets hurt, shit kind of looks really bad. He falls apart, sort of. The technique kind of opens up. And I think you would be irresponsible, though, to call him chinny and think that he is shot. Somebody on the live stream earlier said, there was some chaos in the live stream earlier. Somebody had said that Joe Parker was not world class, and they said that he was shot. And I was like, those two statements, while ignorant, are also offensive. Joe Joyce was taking punches. Parker was supposedly Eddie. I'm gonna highlight what Joe Parker was supposedly sick in that fight against Joyce. Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, but Joe Joyce, man, we only know guys for what happened after, right? And this is a great point. And this is what my buddy was saying. So my buddy who's a retired pro fighter, had a solid career, he was saying this too. He said what happened with Joyce was, and this happens in the heavyweight in all divisions, is that as soon as the chin starts to go, because at one time Joyce could take a shot. I'm the Iceman fighting in Chuck was fighting, I think, in Pride. He had fought in the Pride FC, and then he comes to the UFC, and he was known for just having a granite chin. And then he gets starched by Rashad Evans, and then he was never the same guy. And Joyce was the same thing. You could take a shot, you could take a shot until you can't. And sometimes as soon as the lights go off the first time, they go off even easier moving forward. I'm just saying the Joe Joyce knockout loss, when it happened, I mean, it wasn't like a bum thing. People were kind of acting like he got starched by a bum based off of what what it ended up turning into with his career. So I'm gonna read through some of these other questions. Adu, Wardley ain't gonna let no one survive yeah, killer instinct. I mean, same with. So you're backing up. You're saying the distance. You're voiding that distance. Um, okay. How come Kameda to beat Casemiro? We talked about this on the first live stream. You actually surprised me with that one. Based off of have you guys seen Casemiro in camp? Have you guys followed this fight? Kameda, not a perfect record, has 5 losses, been stopped a couple different times, been stopped recently. Casemiro, overweight. I guess he's on the cigarettes again. He's been drinking again. I guess his, strength and conditioning. I guess he hasn't really been living in the gym. Which Casemiro are we going to get? I'll show you the odds real quick too. The reason why I'm picking Kameda as the dog here is based off of what Casemiro is looking like on his Instagram, what Casemiro is looking like in fight camp. So I've had a couple people message me that Kameda was super live here. Do your own tape, and I'll bring it up. So yeah, 255, 159. Um, that's the reason. I've just been told that Casemiro really isn't about that life anymore. He probably took too much punishment that Parker fight. It was a war, and from the other fight was a war. Yeah. So I want to pop back into the Discord, guys. We are approaching 30 minutes. Does anybody in the Discord want to come on? If anybody in the Discord wants to come on, click the link. Come on, add your value. Um, the link is right here. Add your just screen grab. And this is why, yeah, Casemiro's undisciplined. And Kameda's not. Kameda. This is what happens with boxers. And later on in their career, when they end up getting either you start seeing a guy who at once was world level and he starts getting beat, and then the discipline starts fading. They're not as hungry anymore in the gym, dude. If you're not 100% living in the gym, I'm talking 100%. Like I shared this from Chris Eubank. I shared a post yesterday on Instagram from Chris Eubank talking about this exact thing though. He was talking about how like modern boxing coaches who were telling their fighters that they could take a couple weeks off in between fights. He said the fastest way as a fighter to become average is by taking weeks off. He was like, world champions take no days off. He was like, your whole career you don't take anything off. And so the minute you start seeing guys like Casemiro do that, you gotta start questioning, am I really gonna start putting money on this guy? No, he's not. No, he's up there, mate, and he's been in some fights, mate. I think Kameda's a live dog with there. I'm gonna leave it on for a little bit longer. We're 30 minutes in. I don't know who to bet on, but good luck. I think Casemiro might lose. Yeah, Rambler. I'm going with Kameda too, mate. I'm not betting on Casemiro. We just put a little sneaky uh parlay with Kameda to beat him. I know if we had some Filipinos in here, they would be, Adu. They would be. If this was live from my Facebook page, we'd be getting cooked. My Facebook page has like the most diehard Filipino fans. It's crazy. I didn't realize how diehard the Filipino fan base boxing was until I started my Facebook page like 2 years ago. It's crazy. They love Casemiro, mate. They love him, which is fine. No, it was a good fight. The Picasso fight, and Picasso's a dog. Kameda fought Picasso in a back and forth barn burner too. So look, this is 300 weeks ago. You guys aren't even seeing. So this is an old page. These aren't up to date. This is Casemiro 5 years ago. So this is what he looked like 5 years ago, okay? I'll just leave that up. So that's him 5 years ago, right? I'm gonna show you him now. We were pulling this stuff up earlier. So this is him 2 months ago. This is 35 years old, looking to move up to 140. This is him when he was. This was maybe 5 months ago. Anyway, I think I like Kameda here. I think Kameda's live. I think it's a good underdog bet. You give me Kameda plus money, I'm rolling with it. He was supposed to fight Paul Butler, but he got busted using a Sonic cut weight. It was on his YouTube channel that they caught him. That's insane. It's crazy that you can't use saunas to cut weight. What? What are you talking about? He got busted using a sauna to cut weight. I mean, that's old school. You know, in our hotels, you would use the hotel bathtub and put the towels on. I didn't know you got in trouble for that. You sure it wasn't for IVs? For rehydration? Any other fights you guys want to shoot the shit on? Yeah, he cut a lot of weight, Eddie. He was always cutting a lot of weight. Uh I do have a funny ass video I want to play, but it's probably not for the right platform. Matchroom. We'll go back to the odds. I'm gonna just stay on for a couple more minutes, guys. I gotta run here shortly. Any fights you guys wanna ask about? Any questions here? I'm gonna, you know what, for the boys, I'm gonna put together. So this is the 3 leg. If you guys didn't catch it, and I'm gonna put together my long. I'll do a money line parlay right now. Money line long parlay. So I'm gonna do this while we're on chat. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put together a money line long parlay. Guys, if you like this 3 leg, it pays $11.94. This is a shout out to Clarence. We did this about 20 minutes ago. He wanted a touchdown score, so we got Quinshawn Judkins for the Browns to score a touchdown, $1.96. He wanted two underdogs, an underdog in the UFC. We're taking Virna Jandiroba to beat Mackenzie Dern, and then our underdog in boxing is Kameda to beat Casemiro. Two fighters in the touchdown score. 100 gets you your money back plus 1,094. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to do just a money line parlay because I know a lot of the boys are talking about Puerto Rico tomorrow, and I haven't really told you guys my Puerto Rico picks, and I'm going to do them right now. So I'll put these up in the Discord. So on the money line, the only close fight that I could see going either way is the main event. These are feeder fights. Feeder fights. Feeder fights. I was torn between Lozado and Parker. I was going to tape it. I watched Lozado's last fight. Just watching Lozado's last fight, I don't see Melissa Parker being able to outpoint her. Um, the draw, I mean, the ladies 2 minute round, the draw is always going to be in play. I'm giving you Aussies who are watching this, if you have Bet365, use Bet365. I'm going to place my bets using Bet365. It's just the functionality on their website is shit. So I'm showing sports bet for the live stream. The reason why Aussies shouldn't use sports bet is because the draw ruins your ticket. Bet365, it just voids it. So Ashley here, I have Pagan. 7 leg, 329. So you put 100, you put a little 100 on that. These are just money line picks. I don't really, the only really upset I could see on that card is Montgomery beating Pagan, but that's a 50-50 fight. And round robin bet. And so boxing fans telling us about the round robin bet. If you guys missed our live stream yesterday, he was on the chat and we were talking about it. So we don't have the option to do round robin betting here in Australia, but I know that you guys have the option on I forgot what betting app you got boxing fan uses. Guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. It's Thursday afternoon. We got boxing tomorrow. Puerto Rico, 12:30 p.m. Sydney time. Thursday night in America. I'll be going live again tomorrow morning. This is my second live stream of the day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I appreciate everybody.